Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, the mercy, and the blessings of Allah be upon the Muslims. What's up to everybody else? Peace be upon y'all also. I wanted to take the time out to share something about Islam. It's a little bit about my journey and the benefits that I could have had if I would have took the deen more seriously, implemented the way of this religion the way I should have when I first became Muslim. I first became Muslim in 2002, the winter, towards the end of the year. And I was doing the math the other day, and my oldest daughter at that time was 5 years old. And when I came home from incarceration, she was 8. And if I would have took this religion as serious as I should have way back then, my relations and my daughters and my sons would probably be practicing Muslims also. They would have had a great example in their father. But I was still running the streets. I was struggling with my Imam. I couldn't get it right. I was going up and down for years. For years. Up and down, up and down. On hard 6 months. Fall off hard 6 months. On for a year. Fall off hard for a year. It was back and forth. Back and forth. And there's something in Islam called hijrah. And it means to migrate. It means to move away for the purpose of being able to worship your Lord better. And all these years later, which is 18 years later, I finally made hijrah. I got up, I left the environment, and I see that making hijrah has made me a way better and way focused Muslim. If I would have took the time out to do that back then, I would have had way better relations with my children. I have strained relationships with some of them. All of the relationships is long distance now. But because of my selfishness and my in and out of the penal system and taking all of these years to finally get a grasp on the proper way that I should worship. I'm not perfect. I sin every day. I'm always going to be a sinner. Sins I don't know of and the sins I know of. But everybody's a sinner. I'm a sinner. I'm always going to sin, right? But with me making hijrah, my sins become less and they become different things, right? Like before I got married and before I moved, like my sins was drinking heavy every day, using drugs. I'm not talking about marijuana. Sleeping with numerous different females daily, 2-3 different females sometimes in one day. And all of those, now those are like heavy sins too. Like, fornication is a heavy sin. Robbing, stealing, doing all that type of stuff also, those is like heavy sins. Couldn't stop drug dealing at all. And those are stuff that weigh. Like now that I move, like my sins may be something different. I may be fighting because I want to smoke a cigarette. And some scholars, they have the opinion that cigarettes is my group. Some scholars say that they're haram, but even if they're haram, like to go from one struggle that was so severe, like multiple fornication in one day, to maybe smoking a cigarette, maybe wanting to smoke a cigarette, or cursing, or things like that. That's a blessing. That's a blessing in itself. I should have been made that choice. And, now that I'm super more focused, I think about my children and their lives, and not particularly their physical lives of this life, but their hereafters. And it kind of hurts to know that if I was doing what I should have did, it would have been a better outcome. Inshallah, God willing. Allah is the best of planners, and everything happens on Allah's time. Everything. So, yeah, I'm upset, but it's Allah's dealing. And all my children turned out great, excellent. They're all finishing high school. They're all graduating. They're all very smart. They don't got kids. They ain't never been in prison. They ain't been in trouble like how I have growing up my life. And that's alhamdulillah. And you can't tell me that it didn't come from the prayers, because I constantly, all my time in and out of prison, man, I constantly pray for my children. Constantly pray for them. Constantly. The power of prayer is very, very strong. I constantly pray for my children. Constantly pray for them. And they ended up okay. But our relationships was always up and down too. Just like my religion, up and down. Just like my incarceration, in and out, in and out. And when I made this move and I came out here, I noticed that, I started making more prayers, more du'as, which is like, we have in Islam, we have 5 daily prayers, and then you can make more if you want, and then you have du'as, which is just like a supplication, asking God for something, asking Allah for something, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I started asking him, like, help me get my children back. And through his mercy and through his blessings, I see that the better I've become and the more I've become focused, and it's been working. Like, he's just been slowly bringing them back, and it's going to take time. But that's good, because I need time to work and focus on myself and keep myself growing in this manner, so I could be an example. It's never too late, It's never too late to get right and to do right. So, with this thing here, this is a religion of, all religion is with faith and actions. But Islam really stresses the faith and action. So a lot of us, when we become Muslim, we come from backgrounds to where we come from, honestly, hypocritical backgrounds. I'm just going to keep it real. We come from hypocritical backgrounds where our family members did XYZ from Monday to Saturday, and the only time we would see them righteous was on Sunday for a few hours. So that's something that's been installed in us for years, over years, over years. So when we come into Islam, we come into Islam with that same mentality, and we do the same thing. It's just like we don't practice it as we should, but Islam stresses hard upon that like a believer, there's a saying that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, the Prophet Muhammad, he said that the difference between belief and disbelief, simple things, is the establishment of the prayer. So if a person is making his prayers as he should be, he has some sort of belief. When a person stops making their prayers, they're in a form of disbelief. But would you call them a disbeliever? No, because you don't know what's in their qalb, their heart. Only Allah knows what's in their heart. So it's cool to call a person in disbelief, but you can't really call them a disbeliever because only Allah knows. Now, if a person just totally, abandons the Salat and abandons Islam and renounces it, or even doesn't renounce it, but just is doing everything Well, you can't, if you don't renounce it, you really can't say it, because some people have struggling faith. Iman, it's another thing. The Prophet said faith, it fluctuates. It goes high and it goes low. It goes low when we start sinning. Our faith starts decreasing, and the more we practice, our faith rises and rises and rises. So faith is a thing that fluctuates. So I'm not going to say that a person is a disbeliever unless they totally renounce the deen. But I want to say that to the new Muslims, or even the old Muslims that ain't practicing the way they should practice, it's never too late, and it's very imperative that this is something that you learn. If you say you believe in this, it's obligatory for you to learn this. It's obligatory for you to learn who Allah is. A lot of Muslims can't even tell you who Allah is or where is Allah. They'll still have that concept of belief that God is within them or God is everywhere, because Allah is in them and Allah is everywhere, because they have no knowledge of Islam. They're just Muslim. They don't know how to pray. They don't even know who the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, really is. They just know his name. And it's not enough. It's not enough. You have to learn. In order for you to understand something, you have to learn it, So it's never too late for us, man. So I would encourage all the Muslims to, now's the time. Like, especially you got young kids out there and all of that, and you're struggling, start practicing this deen. A lot of me and my brothers that became Muslim in their journeys through life and all of that, they're the same way. They turned out the same way like me, because of we didn't make hijrah, we didn't migrate, we didn't move away, we didn't move from this environment that's full of sin to an environment where we can practice. So they ended up the same way. Strained relationship with their kids. A lot of their kids turned out worse than mine, SubhanAllah, may Allah, watch over their kids and guide them and bring them back. To a lot of their kids been in jail already, got children, is super disrespectful to their parents, and they've been Muslim almost as long as I have, and they're still, and I pray that Allah never puts me back in that position, and he removes them from that position, but they're still out there. They're still out there in the streets, and some of them have new babies. And if you want to raise your new baby because you don't want to become conscious aware, right? We're already 20 years in Islam, 15 years in Islam, and you don't want to have that conscious, you don't want to have that imam hit you, boom, 22 years, 25 years from now, and you really understand the deen, and your concern is your family, because that's going to be your main concern. The only thing you're going to really start thinking about is like, yo, all right, I know that this life is temporary, and I know it's the next life that really counts and really matters. And my kids, I don't want my kids to end up in a place where it's eternal torment of the soul. You want your kids to be with you in that blissful place. God willing, if you get to that blissful place. And you don't want that to have that weighing on your soul. So if we got an opportunity to get it right and do right, then by Allah, by all means, man, you should do it. You should do it. If you got to make hijrah to do it, you got to move out of state, you got to move somewhere else, you got to move to a new town, then do it. Allah's going to bless you, especially if you make a hijrah for his cause. He's going to make sure everything for you is all right. He's going to make sure, he's going to make a way for you. He's going to make it easy for you. So I just wanted to take the time out to share these things with whoever may lend an ear, that this religion is a religion that is truly based on faith with actions. Because in Islam, faith without actions, you got to be careful. You could be labeled a munafiq, a hypocrite. And in Islam, a hypocrite in Islam is worse than a non-believer in Islam. So if you're a hypocrite, and I'll the sign for us to know that a person is a pure hypocrite is if they have three characteristics. And in some narrations, which are hadiths, which are narrations that come from the Prophet, if they have, it's four. But if they have one or three of these things, then this person suffers from hypocrisy. But it said that, the scholar said that if a person has all three of them, then surely this person is purely a hypocrite. You still don't call him a hypocrite because Allah knows best. But if a person has these three traits, characteristics, then know what you're dealing with. And one of the characteristics is that when they speak, they lie. They always tell a lie. If you trust them with something, they're going to betray your trust. They're going to prove themselves treacherous. And the third thing is that if you have a disagreement, they always want to argue. So if a person has one of these three characteristics, then he has the trait of a hypocrite. But if a person possesses all three of these things, then the person is a pure hypocrite in Islam. So you want to try to avoid these things and avoid putting ourselves in the category of being that. And I can speak for myself and truly say that I definitely at one point in time, suffered from them characteristics, and I'm trying my best, inshallah, to work on those things and make myself a better person. I really want my children to enjoy the fruits of the faith, of knowing like, all right, we're going to struggle. This life is a struggle, but the struggle at the end, you'll understand. And then when you understand Islam, right, it truly removes the fear of dying. Everybody is afraid to die. Everybody's scared to die. Nobody wants to die at all, right? But once you get that understanding with Islam, it helps. Now, it don't put you on no mission where you're going to be going out, I'm ready to die. Nah, but you just have an understanding. No soul still doesn't want to die, but you just still have an understanding that there's so much more that can be better after this physical life, in the spiritual life, after death. And that's what we strive for. That's what our goal is for, The anxiety of life, of getting in your car and driving to work. Oh man, I had an accident, and I don't want to crash, and somebody might hit me, and all of these anxieties that people deal with because they think of death. Those start to dissipate. They start to just wear off, and you start living a content life. You start really feeling that, that you understand, I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die. Every single body dies. But I'm not so scared of it. I'm not petrified of it no more. I understand that in life, the only guarantee is death and what comes after. That's the only guarantee in life, is death and what comes after death. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video. It's really long already. Sometimes you can't make them all short. Pray that anybody that gets this message, man, that understands it, that it helps them. It helps them. Gives you some type of foundation or something, man, to work on, to better yourself as a Muslim. Or to maybe, look into the deen, look into Islam. A lot of people know me, where I come from. And I was full-blooded, full-boiled into the streets. So for some people, just seeing me even be able to express myself and articulate myself like this is enough for them to look into it, to see, wow, if this guy could talk like this and seem like he's become like this way, then I was nowhere near as worse as he was. I know it's got to be something. Let me look into it. You know? And that's the plan. That's what it is. So, hopefully somebody gets got it. Inshallah, God willing. Allah's the best of planners. He's the one that guides. 1,000 people could watch 1,000,000 stuff. They could see 1,000 proofs and 1,000 truths. And if their heart is in a state of denial, Allah will never open their hearts to accept it. But some people, it don't even take. It takes to read 2 verses. It just takes some things that's simpler for some people, you know. May the Most High protect us. May the Most High guide us. May the Most High keep us strong. May the Most High keep us safe. May the Most High keep us practicing. May the Most High guide those to this way of life. May the Most High take away the confusion that people have. May the Most High make everybody better people. And this is all just something I wanted to share with you guys, man. Be blessed. Stay safe and stay sanitized. You know, we're still dealing with this so-called epidemic. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon everybody.